Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for being here. My name is Josh and I am just an average Joe day trader. Guys, let's talk a little bit about the market today. Today is Wednesday, May 7th. Market is closed and not really a very exciting day in the market. If you were in the market today with me and you were day trading, then you would have known that the market kind of ran a little bit horizontal today. Let's jump right in and talk about that a little bit. First and foremost, we can start with the S&P 500. As I've shared, I wake up and go to bed every night and wake up every morning and look at the S&P 500 to understand what's going on. And you're going to see here on the screen that the S&P 500 was doing some pretty weird things from yesterday at the point it closed market. That's the 30 minutes. Let's go to 15 minutes. You can see here that it closed right about here, and it closed at $558.80. It ran sort of horizontal for a little bit, got to 6:15 p.m. and launched. And there was some earnings things going on, some different news things happening in the media that caused the S&P 500 to jump. But anyway, it went from basically $557 and wicked all the way up top at a high of $565.08. So quite a jump up, and then it ran sort of horizontal. And then you see that as we went from post-market, 10 p.m., closed, opened up pre-market. It doesn't look as big, but it had a pretty significant gap, which it did fill right here. But kind of like look at it this way. But you can see it had this drop, and it went from 563.02 down to 561.61. Continued on a horizontal run, a little bit up. Then it went on a trail down. Market opened up at 559.81, and it had some runs up and down, pretty much the way the whole day went, how the market went all day long. And again, this is the 15-minute. You look at it from a 30-minute, it kind of looks stagnant. But you can see there was really no direction of it's going to keep going up or it's going to keep coming down. So end of the day, what started at 560.83 ended at 560.78. So not an up day for the S&P 500. It closed at 561.15. It's still sitting right now at 560.86. And it's running in the post market that way. And you can kind of see from this yellow line is the S&P. You can see that volatility in S&P 500. So what happened today, right? What happened in the market today? Well, first thing I wanted to share and show you guys is that we had all three stock markets. Now remember, I always say that if you're a day trader, retail trader, day trader like I am, you're trading in the S&P 500, but there are a lot of individuals, brokerage accounts, hedge fund managers, that trade in the Dow Jones, in the NASDAQ, in the S&P 500. But anyway, you can see that all three finished the day green. They said it's the 9th consecutive day or 10th consecutive day that we finished in the green. And I wanted to kind of show this to you real quick so you can see this. Okay, first we have on the 1 day, you can see the S&P 500. That's why that box is highlighted. This is the S&P 500. On a 1 day, you can just see sort of the trend line of the S&P 500 today. By 2 p.m., and we're going to talk about what happened in the news at around 2 p.m., but a major drop off, and then a work back up, and some drops, some ups and downs. But you can kind of see that through the whole day, sort of an up and down volatility. Well, then we go to 1 week. And you can see in the 1 week range, sort of some of the similar volatility, okay? Not really a clear pattern of expectation in 1 week. Go to 1 month, and this is where you sort of see that positive run. And this is what they're talking about. So in the monthly range, you can see that from April, you had pretty good positive momentum, then came down. And then we've had pretty much, if you were to draw a line from right here, this low point, and run it all the way up to here, that is nothing but positive up momentum. Now, yes, it does have some up and downs in it, but think about it, guys. The S&P 500 is on a continuous up. Okay. And most of the analysts and many news reporters that deal with specifically talking about the stock market all say that the S&P 500 is set to, we don't know when, is set to hit that 6,000 mark. Now, 6,000 mark is really $600 per share because that's how we see it when we look at it on our account. See 561.15. So when we go back to that screenshot, you see that 560 area, 5,600. Okay, that's what this is for the S&P 500. Then when we go to annually, you can see obviously June, July, August, down to in August, then climbing all the way through November, December, into 2025, continue to climb. And now we've had Liberation Day and the tariffs and the Fed and all the things that have been causing this to slowly come down, tried to climb back up, and then a major drop here in April. Okay, April 2nd was Liberation Day, right? And now we're on a almost consistent move back up. But again, everyone's saying this should hit the 6,000 range. And so I am in it in long term, waiting for that to happen. And chances are when it gets to that 6,000 range, it's probably going to have some sort of a retest or a dropout, a sell off, and then we're going to do it again. Wash, rinse, repeat. So let's talk about news for a couple minutes, and then we're going to get into the day trading stocks and see what we did. First of all, what happened today that you would say really caused a lot of issues for the market? So first of all, you guys know that the last 2 days, Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, has been in meetings, and we knew that at 2 o'clock today, they were going to come out of those meetings, and there was going to be either good news or bad news. We kind of thought we knew what the news would be, and we did. It's basically, that no decision was made. It was actually a unanimous 12-0 vote in the Fed meeting about lowering rates. So obviously, President Trump is beside himself, and there's a lot more to come on that. And I'm sure we'll be seeing stuff tonight into tomorrow in the news. But Scott Bessent also confirmed to media today that he is going to meet with Chinese officials this week to advance the Trump trade talks. That's good news. So that actually, towards the end of the day, caused the market to start to climb back up. And hopefully we continue to get this good news, right? Because we have 90 some odd country deals that are pending, and we're just waiting for anything, any deal, 100% that's happening, so we can see that good news and know that we're on the right path, the right direction. There's a lot of talk now that these trade deals, although they're going to do letters of intent, the trade deals won't actually be finalized until probably closer to the end of the year. So we still have some time to wait on that. Other news that affected the stock market, you guys know I continue to talk about earnings. So we had some really amazing earnings results. Disney had a great earnings result. I'm going to throw that up on the screen for you guys here in a minute. But with the Fed's meetings, there's a lot of talk about how basically there's a lot of talk about the stocks mixed after the Fed's decision. And it's true. I mean, the Federal Reserve, as expected, they left interest rates unchanged, despite the repeated hammering of Fed Chairman Jerome Powell by President Trump. And they came out and said that, hey, bottom line is we're not dropping it. It's at 4.5%, and we're not dropping it. And so that's where we're at. There's no rate drop for tax rates. Now, there is something I do want to share with you guys that I thought was very interesting news, and that is that Treasury Secretary Bessent said that the U.S. should be the premier destination for digital assets. And basically, there was an invitation put out asking to bring digital assets back to the United States, meaning we had an administration that was anti-digital assets, anti-crypto, anti-Bitcoin, anti all of those types of financial tools. And to the point where most people took these digital assets and they went to other countries that were promoting and favorable of digital assets. Well, now we're asking for the individuals that have stake in this to bring it back to the U.S. You can continue to maintain your global dealings, but we want the United States to be that premier destination for those global dealings. Let me read this to you. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Wednesday offered insights into how the Trump administration plans to approach the regulation of the digital assets industry during the congressional hearing. Bessent testified before the House Financial Services Committee about the international financial system and said the administration wants the digital assets industry to come to the U.S. and play a global leadership role in the sector. Quote, "We believe that the United States should be the premier destination for digital assets," Bessent said. Quote, "Our goal is to encourage firms to reshore or bring back to the United States best practices that are digital asset innovation and experimentation here in the United States without scaling back their ambition to influence the global industry." Quote, "The administration's efforts to promote clear regulatory frameworks for digital assets will contribute to this goal. So will ongoing efforts to promote fair access, interoperability of payment technologies across all borders. We will continue to support private sector solutions and discourage public sector solutions that distort markets and stifle the competition." So, guys, we knew Scott Bessent was pretty serious. He's pro crypto, big time. And we knew that this was going to become something big for Trump. That's why Trump appointed him. We want digital assets as a key opportunity here in the United States. So what does that mean for you guys? Well, I know what it means for me, not financial advice for you, but I'm already in crypto stocks. I'm in XRP. I'm in Bitcoin. I'm in Solana. All right, I'm in those, cryptocurrencies that were up significantly and have had a run down, but sort of they're different than the stock market. It pops quick and drops quick. But I'm in them, and my XRP, everybody went forever crazy about XRP, and I bought a bunch of XRP, and I'm hoping, as they say, one day that, 10, 15 years from now, I'll wake up and I'll look at my XRP account and realize that I've got a Bitcoin account, that I have a $50, $70, $90, $100,000 per coin account, and set my kids up for the rest of their lives. That would be amazing and awesome, guys. So anyway, take a look at all the different cryptocurrencies and understand that this is something that's a focus for this administration for the next 4 years. Let's get into the charts and see what is going on. So we're going to start with my favorite stock, and that is, of course, come on guys, what is it? APLD, Applied Digital. Kind of an interesting day. The stock market for APLD opened up, had a pretty serious red candle. I'm on the 30. I'm going to go to 15 and just kind of show you this. Okay. Ran up in the pre-market, post-market. In pre-market, it started to drop down, and then it ran up. So day traders, you could have gotten into the stock at 521 and ran it all the way up here to 529. You had 3 opportunities during the day to do that. You had an opportunity here, 512, ran all the way up until 523. And then again, later in the day, 515 and ran all the way up to market close 525. And now it's just sort of running a little bit up. Not really. It's sort of bouncing up and down. It's at 525 in the after market, which is where it closed. But again, guys, a great day trade stock, and I hope that you were able to utilize that one and make money. Okay, SoundHound was another one we talked about, and you can see looking at this chart, kind of a rough day, man, today. SoundHound sort of had some opportunities for some ups. You could have got in at 902, ran it all the way up here to $9.23. Good opportunity to make money. The rest of the day, tough. I mean, you could have got into it somewhere around here at $9.08 and just sort of trusted and let it run for the day. See, for me, SoundHound is a longer term hold. I do day trade it, but right now it's a long-term hold in my portfolio, and I'm waiting because the belief is, and again, not my advice, just sharing with you my opinion. I'm being told based on other analysts and their review, that this is potentially a, $12 to $20 per share stock right now. We're just waiting to get through past these tariffs and things that are going on. And it closed at 917. It's after market right now, 921. So it's doing pretty good. But another one that you should be considering for day trade. BBAI, Big Bear, you can see had a pretty long ride downhill most of the morning until you got to this beautiful, big, engulfing green candle. And that's $2.97. And you could have rode that one up to $3.07. Probably got out of $3.04 here, where this red engulfing candle, hit as an indicator to get out, and moved on from there. Oh, one I wanted to share with you guys first before we get to Ford is SoFi. My gosh, guys, I think I told you in one of the last couple of videos that I was waiting to see it come back down below this 1250 area. Well, it did. It ran really nicely through the night. It was at 1254. Ran up post-market, then in the pre-market, it ran back down and followed the trend of the SPY. And then when it opened like a rocket ship, guys. I mean, you could have gotten into it at 1262 and ran it all the way up here to about $13.23, almost 60 plus cents per share. Wow, what a great way to have made some money. I did not get in it because I literally had no idea there was this boom and I was focused on another trade. But guys, SoFi is where it is to be. And if you look, it ran most of the day back down. It's up right now at 1302 after market, closed at 1301. We'll wait and see what happens tomorrow in the market. The other one that I mentioned was Ford, and Ford had a rough down again. If you look at what Ford did the day before, right? Let me hit my auto on this so we can see it. Ford yesterday, what an incredible result. 992 ran all the way up to 1062. Okay. A really good result. And then it did track back down, and through the post-market, pre-market, it went kind of up and down. And then it just pretty much ran all the way down till the end of the day when we started to hear that better news about what was going on with talks with China, etc. So it did run back up at the end of the day from about $10.14 and closed the market at $10.28. So still an opportunity to make, 18 cents per share, roughly. But in any case, very, very good results for Ford. And I'm waiting for Ford to kind of dump a little bit before I start to use this as my day trade stock again. But you absolutely could have been a great day trade stock for somebody that waited towards the end of the day. Anyway, a lot of other stocks out there, guys, right now to keep an eye on. Obviously, NVIDIA had some news today that caused it to pump. And basically it was that the Trump administration was rescinding the Biden-era AI chip export curb. U.S. President Donald Trump administration plans to rescind Biden-era curbs on export of advanced artificial intelligence chips, and that just caused NVIDIA to rocket, okay? It literally went from $113 at close of market to $117, $117.06. It's a long-term hold one for me too, guys. Made some great money. So anyway, guys, listen, thanks so much for jumping into another video. Take a look at these stocks for tomorrow, Thursday, May 7th. And, just sort of understand the candlestick patterns, understand what they're telling you, know your resistance and support levels so you know where you are in trading those stocks. And guys, I want nothing more than for you and I to get rich together. So thanks for jumping in this episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a new video. And guys, if you haven't opened a Webull brokerage account like the one that I always show you all my charting on, go ahead down in the description. There's a link to open up a Webull account and to get 20 free fractional shares by opening that account and funding your account. All right, guys. Hope you have a great day. We will catch you tomorrow. Josh out.